Tyson Foods is a top poultry producing company located in the United States that is scared of the large production capacity that Brazil will accomplish over the next few years as top poultry producer, especially the JBS South America Corporation that is headquartered in the country. Radical Tyson employees plan to bribe employees at JBS in Brazil in order to sabotage densely populated groups of poultry operations they work at over a span of less than a year. They will start their attack by secretly collecting old litter dust and feathers contaminated with the BS15 strain of Marek's disease, retrieved from a previously infected chicken flock. Next, the employees will use mealworms and put them into the litter container where they will be vectors for the disease. 5 paid-off employees will spread the contaminated litter to the JBS South America chicken houses at their assigned locations. To ensure infection will spread, they will place the mealworms in the chicken houses about 6 hours before chicks are placed. The Tyson Group will pay one member at a JBS South America hatchery to switch out the Marek's disease vaccine with water for one day so that the chicks appear to be vaccinated but will never form an immune response. In order to prevent this type of crime, JBS should not allow any unauthorized persons to remove contaminated items or carcasses from locations with previously infected flocks. They should also only receive birds that are genetically resistant to the Marek's virus infection, and flag and prohibit collusion between competitors to prevent bribes. Also begin to implement fencing around areas of production to keep unwanted people out. During the attack, JBS should place camera surveillance throughout all JBS facilities and on the farms. They should also barcode items so they can be scanned upon entering the facility and flag any mislabeled ingredients or items delayed en route. Also perform quality assurance checks on all incoming feed, vaccines, and bedding equipment. And perform a teeter check immediately after vaccinations. For the diagnosis of Marek's disease, it is critical to diagnose the tumors and not the infection because Marek's disease is considered ubiquitous within commercial poultry flocks. Usually, diagnosis is based on enlarged nerves and lymphoid tumors in various viscera. A diagnosis based on typical gross lesions may be confirmed histologically or by using histochemistry or PCR. The MD vaccine comes frozen in vials, so the employee performing the sabotage would have to melt the vaccine, empty out the contents, and refreeze the water without anyone walking by or seeing it happen. At a minimum, hatcheries are producing 375,000 chicks per hatch, which is a lot of vaccines for one person to single-handedly switch out themselves. If an employee did notice this action, they should be trained to detect abnormal behavior and see something, say something privately to the manager. The attack was specifically focused towards chicken houses owned by JBS South America in Brazil. 60% of these houses would be infected and the entire house would need to be depopulated according to JBS protocol for biosecurity reasons. Because Marek's is not a reportable disease, the depopulation protocol is up to the discretion of the JBS facility owner and the corporation that owns the birds. Due to the high mortality rate and the infectious transmission from dust and litter, water-based foam would be a great way to efficiently and quickly depopulate the house. The Brazilian Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, and Supply, as well as the OIE, may also be involved for quarantine and surveillance. Given the small amount of chicks infected, 15 people are needed for proper eradication and disinfection. We would need the help of local law enforcement to help patrol other flocks within a 2-mile radius of the infected zone. Cleaning the infected houses would consist of the application of chlorine or quaternary ammonium for a 10-minute treatment period, or heating the house to 37 degrees Celsius with a relative humidity of 80% for 1 to 2 weeks. Both of these methods were found to be effective in destroying the virus. In order to replenish the flock, there would need to be downtime for full sanitation and at least 21 days for another incubation period to take effect. A broiler chick is worth about 36 cents, and the cost of 375,000 chicks lost at this age would be approximately $135,000. If the 60% or 90.8 million chicks are lost, then the company is looking at $32.7 million in losses, and if 100% of them are lost, the company is looking at least $54 million in losses. Approximately one-fourth of the 235,000 employees at JBS work in poultry. Costs associated with providing biosecurity measures, such as coveralls and boots, to all those employees total over $6 million per year. For costs associated with the prevention of an MD infection, vaccine costs are about $3 per thousand doses, and in order to vaccinate the 5 houses, the costs would total over $450,000. The cost of preparing and preventing this attack would be at least $6.45 million. However, the overall likelihood of this attack happening is very low. Preparing or preventing this type of attack would not be all that expensive and would not take up much time out of the day, especially compared to the billions of dollars they would have to pay for such a mass disposal of birds. Because the JBS South America production profit is one of Brazil's largest exporters, I would recommend the government invest in preparing to prevent this type of terrorist attack through proper training and implementing biosecurity regulations in order to prevent a depletion of their economy.